New Cardi Kaizoku video. Need to watch.
Cardi Kaizoku.
This video is sponsored by Nen Garden. Their latest spring collection just dropped, featuring 3 new designs. My favorite one being the whole cake design. Look at all the details. To celebrate, they're running a spring sale. Buy one and get any classic mat 40% off with code SPRINGSALE. Plus, NEN10 automatically saves you 10% at checkout. And you can stack this with my code CARDKaizoku for an additional 5% off on top of that. This video is sponsored by gumgum.gg. Discover Western OP10 lists and Eastern OP11 lists on gumgum.gg. Updated daily. Be the first to see decks for new leaders as they emerge. With over 1000 deck lists per set, gumgum.gg has all the top strategies as soon as they drop. This video is sponsored by Card Market, Europe's largest online marketplace for trading card games. So it's been nearly a month since we did our ban list tier list video where we speculated on what cards would be unbanned and which cards they could ban. And yeah, this was all speculative stuff. We didn't really do too much in-depth testing. But since this video, I went through my collab era where I collaborated with a bunch of other content creators and we tested out these scenarios with all these cards if they would be banned or not, or unbanned or not. So you can check out those. I'll have it linked in the description below. I guess I'll talk about those videos now since I haven't really put my thoughts on all the collab videos I've done. But I guess if you don't care about this part, I'll put a timestamp somewhere to skip past this. But if you skip past this, I'm going to be sad. So please don't make me sad. So yeah, collab videos were fun. I mainly did it just because I wanted to make friends in the space. So yeah, thank you to everyone who collaborated with me. Special thanks to the people who were part of my first few videos. I was still learning how to do these collab videos, the format of it, collaborating, playing while other people were talking to you, and also coordinating with other people's schedules. So yeah, I was pretty nervous in my first few videos. I don't know if you could tell, I was really awkward, and then everything was kind of jank. But as the collab videos were made one by one, they kept getting better. So yeah, I got into a groove of things, right? Got into the swing of it, a lot more natural and a lot more easier to make as the videos went on. So yeah, it was just really fun, just meeting other people, my peers, my colleagues in this space here. I didn't get to collab with everyone that I wanted to collab with, but the only reason I haven't is because yeah, by the end of it, I got really burnt out. I actually haven't played the game in over a week. I haven't played any single matches just because I got so sick of playing this game over that period of time where I was churning out collab videos. So if I didn't get to collab with you and you expected me to, I'm sorry. I will think of something once my social battery is recharged. I'm going to need some time, but basically, yeah. If I did not collab with you, it does not mean anything. It's just I literally got so sick of this game that I didn't want to do anymore after my very last one. So yeah, just give me time to get the itch to make these again. And yeah, because we did all those collab videos, we tested a bunch of these cards out, the scenarios out. I do have a little bit of a different perspective on some of these choices. So we'll just go over our tier list, what we went over last time, a month ago. This is the state of the tier list. Oh, by the way, I built the tier list function into my deck builder now, so you can make tier lists with these cards that you can search. It's gonna be my one-stop shop to make my videos. I guess I'll share this publicly one day so that my content creator colleagues can use this too if they want, because I designed it specifically for content creation, right? Anything you hover over zooms so that everyone watching the video can read and follow along. You don't have to add in extra graphics and post. Okay, so yeah, enough about that. The tier list, we broke it down into 3 tiers of cards that we think they might unban and 3 tiers of cards that we think they might keep ban or add to the ban list. And the ban list announcement is a week from now, from the recording of this video. We still don't really know what's going to be announced. So yeah, we'll finally get to see how correct we are on these predictions now that we're going to update it a little bit too, a little bit more informed. So starting off with Cabaji, who we tested with Atrocious Jake, Atrocious TCG. I'm not sure which name to call him, but we looked over Cabaji, right? Cabaji, I think is, I don't know, my gut feeling says that he still isn't as great as people seem to think he is, because not only is so yeah, he himself draw 2 cards, trash 1 card, that's good, right? In a vacuum, that's good. It's another 4 Kaya effects, right? That's why people think it's strong. But it's the fact that you have to run this freaking Moji card, this 1 cost 3k, right? He's just a 1k counter in your deck. A Nami deck list is so tight already with the cards that you can put in it that you have to sacrifice 4 good cards to put in 4 of this Moji to get value out of Cabaji, because Cabaji only works if you have a Moji in play. Right, so I don't know if that's a big enough payoff. Personally, I don't think so, but a lot of Nami players, a lot of people who are like known for playing Nami, they think he's a problem. They don't want Cabaji back, right? So if even the people who would benefit the most from Cabaji don't want it back, that's gotta mean something, right? So that on top of the fact that I don't really play Nami myself to begin with, maybe I'll just have to like defer to them, right? I don't have the authority to really judge playing against Cabaji. So far it didn't seem like it was that great, and theoretically, yeah, because of that Moji situation. But yeah, really, since I like literally never played Nami in my life, I'll leave it to the Nami players and their opinions on this Cabaji. So we'll move it to go either way, right? So that I'm conceding that it doesn't have a high chance to be unbanned, but I'm also like putting into account my feelings that I don't think it's that great. So Moby Dick, I think Moby Dick should actually be up to a high chance to be unbanned. So I tested this card out with the real Joshua. We play Whitebeard with this card. I think, well, at the moment Whitebeard's like in the gutter, right? He's not meta viable at all. I think the inclusion of this card gives him like an alternate win condition, like a new avenue to play. Because right now, the way you play Whitebeard is you like turtle and then try to chip away at your opponent until you can like go for game. If your opponent can like outvalue you, where like you're never going to be able to chip them away, they're just drawing too many resources to defend themselves as well as like what you're doing back at them, then Moby Dick gives you like an out, right? If you can't outvalue them, then just kill them, race them, right? That's your win condition now. Kill them before you run out of cards to defend yourself. So I like that it made Whitebeard multifaceted in that way. You didn't have to play only one way. Now the question is if plus 2k to every character on your board, if that's too strong of an effect at a competitive level, because we were playing casual games, so it didn't seem too great. It was like, yeah, a new way to win, but if it does become like overwhelming, like this much power, then yeah, I could see it potentially staying banned, but I don't know. I think the game is power crept enough where this card isn't as oppressive as it used to be, and it doesn't look like they're gonna print any other way to make Whitebeard viable again, so I wouldn't mind Moby Dick coming back, and then if it's a problem, they ban it again. But I know that's a bad luck on them, right? If they unban something and it's a problem again, people are gonna criticize them for it. I wouldn't personally, but like, yeah, I put more value in them like testing things out and trying these scenarios out instead of just being so scared chicken shit of the community that they keep it banned just to appease them. But hey, it's not my game, right? I don't run it. I'm not a stakeholder. But yeah, I'm gonna keep it in unbanned. If you want to flame me for that, go right ahead. We have Blue Black Sakazuki too. I tested this with Cross. This was the first of the collaboration videos. It was really janky, really rough. We even had to re-record a second set of videos for his channel, where I do play a lot better in that one on his video instead of my own. So yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work out. If I could redo this video, I definitely would redo it. But yeah, just from the testing with Cross, Sakazuki just felt like kind of like Lucci's power level. Some pros and some cons. The pros is that like in the Black Mirrors, like cards like Borsalino that can't be KO'd, Lucci like folds to it because he has no way to get rid of it. Sakazuki has no problem with that. He can bottom deck. He can get around a lot of the on KO stuff too, like the Lucky Roos and Kiku Nojos and a lot of Blackbeard's cards, right? They draw him a card on KO. If you bottom deck it, he gets no value out of it. So he has a better Blackbeard matchup for sure. In other matchups, I don't know. I feel like Sakazuki is just more consistent Lucci. Yeah, Lucci can fill his discard more and reach his like higher discard thresholds for like stuff for like the 4-cost Luccis and Kakus and stuff, and Gecko Moria plays, right? But Sakazuki has the ability to not mill 8-cost Gecko Moria because you're like controlling what card you cycle. So yeah, you're one card less in the discard, but you don't accidentally put your 8-cost Gecko Morias, you don't accidentally put your win conditions in the discard, right? Gecko Morias or Jacks. Lucci is really good at doing that, right? If you happen to be unlucky and mill all your win conditions, you just lose the game. There's nothing you can do about that. You can put it on the bottom of your deck with some of your effects, but you're like, it's unlikely that you'll draw into them again by the time the game ends. Sakazuki does not have to worry about that at all. So yeah, it's just more consistent Lucci, which I think at the moment would be okay in the meta, right? This is another card that I wouldn't mind coming back for like one set just to see how you do. If he's way too strong again, just ban him again. So I'm gonna keep him in, could go either way. And then Great Eruption, I put him at low chance to be unbanned because secretly I wanted this card back, but now that we tested it, I kind of tested it impromptubly, is that a word? In the video with Cross. So I don't have a dedicated video for Great Eruption, but -2 cost for 1 Dawn and then replacing itself, while not as great as Tempest Kick, where it's 1 Dawn for 3 costs. The fact that you can use this at any point in the game is what makes it good, right? Tempest Kick only works when you're at 10 or more cards in your trash. Meanwhile, Great Eruption can be used a lot earlier, so before your opponent can set up. I think that holds a lot of merit as well, because early on with like a Brook, you can Great Eruption Brook to pop a 3-drop. It's your forward on turn, you kill whatever your opponent just played, right? they're setting up with like a Zoro Juro. You get rid of the ramp, it throws off a lot of strategies for a lot of the purple decks, especially red purple Luffy in particular. And yeah, it's better to use a Great Eruption instead of like a Tsuru or something, because this is a 2k counter that you want to use later on as well. It even helps you kill like an enemy Brook, right? Your Brook can't kill their Brook, so if they play their Brook out first, that's an issue for you, right? So Great Eruption, play Brook, kill their Brook, you're golden. And yeah, the fact that it replaces itself is what's really strong. That's why Tempest Kick is good too. And then the other thing is that you can compound this on top of Tempest Kick. So it's 2 Dawn for -5 cost, and you draw 2 cards, so you don't lose out on any card advantage. It's like a Ice Age in a sense, right? Except it costs 1 Dawn more, but you're thinning out your deck by 2. And you could use it a little more like flexibly. If you don't need all the 5 costs, you can split it like 2 costs into one thing, 3 costs into another thing. So because of that, I think, yeah, the card is still too good. It does still need to be banned. Same with the Reject. Went over this card with my video with the Strongest Wizard. Reject turns any like match against yellow. Because it's generic, it's runnable in any yellow deck. It turns any 1 life situation board state into a 0 life board state. I don't think that is healthy, right? And the fact that every yellow deck ran it. And even when you don't need it for the life popping part, you can still KO a 5-drop with it. So it's like never a bad card in hand. I really wish this was leader locked to Kalgara. I think that would fix it actually, but in its current state, I don't know if they would errata this card. They have not errated an event or character card, only leader so far, right? Red Purple Law and then Sakazuki. They got like promo reprints. It's not even an errata, it's like a completely new card. They could do that with Reject too. Make it like a Kalgara Jacked. I don't know. But there's no precedent for that. They haven't done it for a non-leader card yet. I would welcome that, but I don't think they're going to do that. So this card will remain banned. Then we have Enies Lobby, and I went over this card in my video with Purposefully TCG. So Enies Lobby, for the same reason that Great Eruption is good, right? -2 cost whenever in the future turn is way too good of an effect that you can get out. It's only usable in a Lucci deck, but Lucci so far is still meta without this card. So if you put this card back in, like the cost reduction math is just way too easy. You don't even really need to think or like plan out what cards to use. You'll most likely have enough cost reduction because of this Enies Lobby plus your leader ability. That's already 3 to start you off for the turn. For any other cost reduction that you stack on top of that, it might be kind of balanced if it was like Marineford, right? Because Marineford is only -2 cost on the turn that you play it. Yeah, it's 1 Dawn less, but on subsequent turns, it's only -1 cost, right? So already from like the second activation of Enies Lobby, it's already more cost reduction than a Marineford. So that's why Enies Lobby is like way better, I feel. It even has a trigger that lets you play it out for free. Marineford doesn't have that. So I don't know. Marineford might have been a little more balanced, in my opinion. Then we have Red Purple Law. So I went over this card with my video with Hiroshisho, who actually got to play him in OP08. I had no idea how strong he was in OP08 actually, until I got to face it firsthand. This card is busted. Honestly, I think it's because of Black Maria, this card makes it so that his leader ability is just no cost at all. So he's a swarm deck, he's a ramp deck, he's a removal deck, a draw deck. It just does way too much, I feel like. And that's him at his base. Once you add Black Maria and all of that is free, right? You're just getting to do everything that is possible in the game with no repercussions, while other leaders have like less opportunity to do so. So yeah, because of that, I do still think that he should be banned. Interestingly enough, in our video with Hero, Green Purple Luffy did pretty well into him. So it could just be that OP11 is that meta, right? That power creep meta where maybe Red Purple Law isn't even that strong anymore by that time. But another argument is that Red Purple Law limits the design space for future. 4 cost purple and red cards, they can't print anything too generic without risk of it being overpowered, even more overpowered in a Red Purple Law deck, right? Like Kid and Killer is like the ultimate card for Red Purple Law, even though it was meant for like other aggro decks. But yeah, I can see that as a reason to keep it banned. And as it stands for OP10 at least, I think it's still way too strong. But similarly, if they wanted to like unban it for a set in OP11 just to see how it would do, I wouldn't mind that, but really unlikely that they're going to do that. And then 4 cost Bounce Law. So I do think he's a problem card in Doflamingo, because Doflamingo is supposed to be like an aggro swarm deck, but they give it control in the form of this card. Right? Not only is it a swarm card, but it also bounces one of your opponent's characters back to their hand. Or you can use it in other ways where you can bounce 2 of your own searchers back to your hand to replay or counter back to your hand. So it's like defensive and then card value and removal when you need it. Right? It's like a Swiss Army knife. A little too much value for the deck, I feel. And yeah, I don't know, I'm conflicted because yeah, Teach, I put him in won't ban Cry More, but I changed my tune on him. Wherever he goes, I think Law should go as well. And yeah, with these two, I tested about with Zell TCG and Wimmy, right? I don't think you can get rid of one. It looked like from our testing, the issue isn't just one card, right? Doflamingo was still strong with one or the other. But the thing is, if you ban both, I think Doflamingo would be too weak. So there's really no like easy solution here. But we also see an OP11 blue Doflamingo just starting to fade away naturally anyway, with the rise of blue purple and green purple Luffy, and then like Lucci is still relevant in OP11, so that handles Doflamingo pretty well too. So if they don't do anything at all, we could just see Doflamingo fade out anyway. But OP10 definitely, he will still be a menace. So I'm gonna maybe put it in want it banned, but they won't, and then they'll just naturally fade out, hopefully. We just have to put up with it for one more meta, and then we're getting that simultaneous release anyway, so at some point all of us are going to be rid of Doflamingo. Maybe. Then Ice Age, I don't think it needs to be banned, and they won't. I think won't ban Crymore now. It's just that the thing I'm hung up on is there's no in between like Great Eruption -2 cost for 1 and Ice Age -5 cost for 1. Where's like the -4 cost? I feel like -4 cost might be more balanced. If there was a -4 cost for 1, maybe I would consider banning Ice Age and having that card be like the de facto cost reducer for black. But as it stands, it goes from 2 to 5. That's like, I don't know, like too big of a jump, I think. But yeah, there's balance in the fact that if you don't need all -5 of this cost, it does go to waste if you use it on one character, right? You can't split it or anything. And yeah, the fact that a lot of the decks that do utilize Ice Age also like combo it with Jack, right? Lets you pop a 8-drop this way. The only balancing thing about this is that it's not searchable with both of these pieces, right? You're either having to choose Animal Kingdom Pirate Searchers or Navy Searchers. There's no Animal Kingdom Pirate Navy dual searcher at the moment, so there's some limitations on the consistency of having it, but honestly it feels like anytime someone has a Jack, they also have an Ice Age in hand already somehow anyway, just because the black leaders can cycle quite a bit, right? They run brand news and stuff, and then like Sakazuki's leader ability cycles. So yeah, I don't know. I do still think black needs it, but if there was a -4 cost alternative, I would want that one to be in the game instead. And then Pudding, I think Pudding, yeah, it still should be one-hit banned, but they won't. I understand the argument that we need hand destruction cards like this. The only gripe I have with Pudding is that it's like a hard number of 5. I don't think it should be that. I think it should be like -2 cards, right? So no, even if you're at 9 cards in hand, you go to 7. You shouldn't go from 9 to 5. I think that's a little too brutal. So yeah, I wouldn't mind Pudding existing and then there being like a blue threat to like huge hands. I just think that the way they went about it is incorrect. I don't think it should be back down to 5, right? And like, what if they release a leader in the future where like you draw like 3 cards a turn and that's how like their leader plays? They get like hard countered by this Pudding, right? So in a way that limits the design space. Or they have like a like alternate format where it's like, I don't know, tag team or 2v2 or something, where like you play on the same board and then you draw 2 cards a turn. This Pudding suddenly becomes a problem for that format. So I really do think they should have just made it like -2 cards in hand, just like the purple law, right? This one, it accomplishes the same thing, but I think it's a lot more fair. Same with Isho, right? This Isho does the same thing, 2 cards. And then we'll move on to the won't ban Crymore. So 8 cost Gecko Moria, I tested this one out. So 8 cost Gecko Moria, I tested this out with Aikai Lakai. A little different than the other cards. So we tested if it was leader locked, the Thriller Bark Pirate types only. And yeah, we're starting to see 8 cost Gecko Moria decks fade out too. Lucci's like the only one in OP11 because of the purple Luffy shenanigans. But for the same reason that Red Purple Law, we want that card to be banned because it limits the design space for red and purple 4 costs. Gecko Moria would like have the same problem, right? So I could see the argument there, like want it banned, but they won't. I don't think they will ban it, because if they wanted to ban it, they've had so many chances now. When he was like the strongest card in the game, it's getting to the point where he's not the strongest card in the game anymore. So I don't think they would ban it now. But if they were to ban it for the same reasons as Red Purple Law, I could completely understand it. They could print better 4-drop black cards. But yeah, it's hard to top the one that exists at the moment in this Rebecca. But yeah, I think it deserves to be here. We found out from the video that even with 8 cost Gecko Moria, the Gecko Moria leader and Piranha doesn't become like top meta. And then Smoker loses, I think Purple Black Luffy loses, and then Black Yellow Luffy completely dies. But the Lucci seems to be fine without it, surprisingly enough. And then Gum Gum Giant, I tested this out with the Luffy TCG, the Luffy TV. I think TV is his Twitch channel and TCG is his YouTube channel. But yeah, I think in OP10, I don't think it should be banned, because Purple Luffy is the only deck that utilizes it and it needs it. But in OP11, we're starting to see the rise of some menaces, like namely, this Luffy uses it really well. And then this Luffy uses it amazingly well. So this Luffy can just search it from the top 5 of his deck in the late game, so he'll always have a Gum Gum Giant. This green-purple Luffy runs dual searchers in the form of this Nami, and then the event searcher, right? This finds the Gungam Giants really easily. So both decks always have it in their hand. Always when they're at 1 Dawn open, you know that it's coming. They usually go through 2 per game minimum. On top of it already being a really defensive card for 1 Dawn. So there's merit to it being looked at in OP11. I think OP11 is still too fresh. That I think the meta still needs to settle. So yeah, OP12 might be a card worth looking at considering because all the top decks are part purple and Luffy leaders. But as it stands for OP10 at least, I don't think it should be touched. And then Jesus Burgess. I didn't test Jesus Burgess in our Blackbeard video with Awakened TCG. We looked at Fullalead instead. So yeah, Jesus Burgess is not a problem at all, actually. So we'll just keep it here. We'll just add some of the cards that we did not have from last time. So Fullalead also deserves to be in Won't Ban Cry More. I don't think this is the make or break for the Blackbeard deck. It does help increase the consistency, but we see Blackbeard decks that top that either run like 3 or 2 copies of it or no copies at all. So yeah, it does help you do like your strategy of finding that 10 cost Blackbeard for the late game every game. But honestly, we run so many other searchers with like Lafitte, right? This one, and then this is my age. Wait, actually don't know what the real name of the card is. Oh yeah, this is my age, right? There's searchers in the deck already, so it's not too hard to find that 10 cost Blackbeard. It's just not like stupid easy to find it. So I do think the stage is not a problem. The card that people do complain about is this 5 cost Kuzan. I didn't get a chance to test it. It's kind of hard because like all the Western players are in OP09 at the moment, and then I'm having to ask people to get acquainted with the future meta, even though they're like training for the current meta. So yeah, I couldn't get any good testing with 5 cost Kuzan. But if I had to guess, I'll put it in the one it banned, but they won't. I know this card makes it really like easy to get out Jesus Burgess from your discard, so you can chuck them for counter or like use them for your leader ability. Like some point early on, you play Kuzan, you can bring him back out, and then Kuzan draws you a card too. So like it's like you lost nothing to play the Jesus out. And yeah, the fact that he can't get removed, so it's like guaranteed. You can also use him to like play out like a Van Augur too, to set up for like KOs with your Doc Q or like your finger pistols. Like -3 cost, if you can get 2 Van Augurs out, that's -6 cost. That kills anything with the finger pistol or a black hole, right? These event KO effects. So yeah, a lot of people want this ban. I still think Blackbeard is not oppressive enough of a deck to warrant it. So, and he's getting a starter deck too. So yeah, I don't think this card needs to be hit at the moment. So yeah, the low chance to be banned. I guess we could just remove that tier entirely. So yeah, this is what it looks like. I think Moby Dick would be interesting to come back. I don't think it's apparently overpowered enough that it would be a problem to test it for a set. Experimental cards that I would like to see back would be Sakazuki, Cabaji. For now, I think Reputable Law shouldn't be for now, but if it's OP11, yeah, we can move them up. But well, I guess the ban would be for the East first, right? So it would be an OP11, OP12 even. No, I still think Reputable Law might be too good. So yeah, the rest of these cards should still be banned. Want to ban, but they won't. These are just cards that everyone hates, but I don't think they'll actually touch it. Then won't ban Cry More. Yeah, these look like very like low, very vocal minorities hate these cards. Gungam Giant maybe should go up if I'm thinking OP11, OP12. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna keep it here. I'm not gonna overthink it too much. Oh, and another card I want to go over. I'm not too sure how I feel about it, but I kind of, where's he at? This leader, I want to hit it in some way. Not that he's oppressive, but I just feel like for new players trying to get into the game, like this card is like really frustrating to play against, right? Because like, so you're teaching a new player to play the game, they'll like play characters out, attach Dawn, they attack, try to get your opponent to 0 life. This leader kind of throws that paradigm out the window because you don't want him to get to 0 life, or you do, but only when you want him to, right? Because he also wants to get to 0 life to like make his leader a 9k base. And then yeah, if your opponent is new to the game and they're playing against a guy who has like a 9k base leader and they can't even do anything against it, that could be really frustrating. But is that worth taking away this option at the highest level? Because yeah, a lot of pros like playing this deck. So if they were to hit this, I don't know. I don't think there's a way to hit this without it like completely destroying the deck, right? Because even Gecko Moria, if that is gone, this deck is dead. What other stuff could we hit from it though? I mean, I don't think they would hit 2 cost brothers because that's kind of like the identity of this deck, and also like the other 2, right? They need the 2 cost brothers. It's just that this Luffy can use them a lot better. I don't know if this bottom decked itself instead of going to the trash, maybe that fixes it so that like Gecko Moria can't replay it. But yeah, as a card to consider, I'll just put it in Won't Ban Cry More. Right? I think it's something to look into, but I don't think it's a big enough problem to warrant it going into any other tier. Right, so that's it for my ban list tier list video. Let me know what you guys think. This is our updated thoughts. We'll have to see what ends up actually happening in a week. We'll see if we're wrong or not, or it could be like something that's completely taking us by surprise, blindsiding us. That would be the most interesting thing. I don't think that's going to happen though. I think it's going to be really minor touches. Just because OP11 seems to be like shaking up the meta already on its own quite a bit. Thanks again to everyone who collaborated with me. And to anyone who I didn't collab with yet, I'll get to you eventually. Yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Check out my other videos if you haven't. Yeah, I guess that's it. Bye.
Car D Kaizoku.